Lemon the Bug and the Secret Invitation to the Pink Lagoon. The morning by the sea began exactly the way a proper seaside morning should. The waves whispered softly across the sand. The seagulls were arguing loudly about something extremely important, most likely a piece of bread. And Lemon the Bug was running up and down the beach, carefully inspecting everything the sea had brought in overnight. A pebble, a piece of seaweed, another pebble, a stick, a very suspicious piece of seaweed. "Clementine!" Lemon suddenly shouted. "I found treasure!" Clementine, who was lying on a warm towel and doing something extremely important, absolutely nothing, did not even lift her head. "If it's another wet stick, I refuse to join the investigation." "It's not a stick." Lemon hurried over. In his mouth he was carrying a bottle. A real old green bottle with a cork, and inside it was something pink. Clementine sat up immediately. "Oh!" "What does 'oh' mean?" "It means this is much better than a stick." They carefully pulled out the cork. Pop! It flew straight into the sand. Lemon peered inside. There was a tiny rolled-up note, and beside it a long, soft pink feather. Clementine narrowed her eyes. Very mysterious. Lemon sniffed the feather. "And it smells like the sea." "We are standing beside the sea." "Then everything makes sense." They unrolled the note. Written across it in beautiful letters were the words, "To the one who finds the pink feather. When the sun rises above the sea, follow the shore to where the water turns pink. Walk past 3 large rocks. Find the narrow path between the reeds. And do not forget the pink feather. It is your invitation." Lemon read the note twice. "We'll be invited to a secret meeting." Clementine looked at the little drawing at the bottom. "Judging by the signature, we've been invited by a very long-legged chicken." After breakfast, the friends set off. Lemon tucked the pink feather into his collar. It stuck straight up, making him look as though he had suddenly grown a very fashionable tail on his head. "Does it suit me?" he asked. Clementine looked him over. "You look like a bug who accidentally became a hat." Lemon decided that was a compliment. They passed the first rock, then the second, then the third. Just beyond it, tall reeds began to grow. Between the green stalks was a tiny path. The friends followed it, and then the reeds ended. Lemon froze. Wow! Before them stretched a huge, quiet lagoon. The water reflected the morning sky and shimmered pink and gold. And standing in the middle of it were dozens of flamingos. Pink flamingos, tall flamingos, elegant flamingos. Some were walking through the shallow water. Some were cleaning their feathers. and several were simply standing on one leg with the expression of birds who were doing it purely for photographs. "I knew there would be something pink here," Clementine whispered. A tall flamingo slowly approached them. A small shell hung around his neck. "Your invitation, please." Lemon showed him the pink feather. The flamingo examined it carefully. Then he examined Lemon. Then the feather again. "Everything is in order. Welcome to the Pink Lagoon." "And who are you?" Lemon asked. The flamingo gracefully lowered his head. "Florian," Clementine whispered. "Of course you are." "What? Nothing." Florian led them toward the lagoon. "Today is a very special day. It is Pink Feather Day. Once a year we send one invitation out to sea." "Does the bottle always reach someone?" Lemon asked. Florian thought for a moment. "No." "What happens to the others?" "Last year a pelican found it." "And what happened?" "He ate the invitation." Near the water, several flamingos were having breakfast. Lemon stepped closer. "What are you eating?" Florian proudly pointed his beak toward the water. "Our breakfast lives in there." "You eat water?" "No." "Sand?" "No." "Then I give up." The flamingo lowered his head into the water, upside down. Lemon stared. "Clementine!" "I see it. He's eating the wrong way up." "Maybe we are the ones eating the wrong way up." Florian lifted his head. Flamingos eat tiny aquatic creatures. Small crustaceans, algae, insect larvae, and other food that we filter from the water. Lemon stared at his strangely curved beak. "So you have a strainer inside your beak?" "You could put it that way." Inside a flamingo's beak are special structures that help filter food from water and mud. "Very useful," Clementine said. "I could use one of those for soup." Florian continued. "Do you know why we are pink?" Lemon thought hard. "Because you are shy?" "No." "Because you spend too much time in the sun?" "No." "Makeup?" Florian looked mildly offended. "We never discuss cosmetics before lunch." Then he laughed. "Our pink color comes from our food. The algae and tiny crustaceans we eat contain natural pigments called carotenoids. Over time, those pigments help turn our feathers shades of pink and reddish orange." Lemon looked down at himself very seriously. "If I eat enough lemons, will I turn yellow?" "No," Clementine said. "Pity." Farther along the lagoon stood a whole group of flamingos on one leg. Lemon lifted one paw. He stood for 1 second, wobbled, stood for another second, and then splash! He landed right in the shallow water. Clementine looked at him. "Very graceful." "I'm still practicing." Florian explained that flamingos really do spend a lot of time resting on one leg. The position is surprisingly comfortable for them and may also help reduce heat loss while they stand in water. "Where does the other leg go?" Lemon asked. "It is tucked up beneath the body." Lemon looked at the flamingos, then at himself. "I can do that too." He raised one paw. Clementine quickly moved several steps away, this time for the other way. Near the edge of the lagoon, the friends spotted several fluffy chicks. Lemon stopped. "Why aren't they pink?" The baby flamingos were gray and fluffy. "Because flamingos are not born pink," Florian explained. "The chicks are usually gray or pale. Their pink color appears gradually as they grow and begin eating the foods that contain those pigments." Lemon nodded very seriously. "So being pink is something you have to grow into?" "Exactly." Clementine looked at Lemon. "There is still hope for you." Suddenly all the flamingos began gathering together. "What's happening?" Lemon asked. "Our morning parade is about to begin," Florian said. The flamingos stretched out their long necks. They took several steps together, turned their heads, opened their wings, and began moving as one group. "They are dancing!" Lemon cried. And they really were. Their movements were so synchronized that it looked like a carefully rehearsed dance. In the wild, flamingos live in large colonies, sometimes numbering many thousands of birds. During courtship, they can perform group displays in which they march together, turn their heads, and spread their wings. Lemon immediately joined in. Step, step, head left, head right, paw up. "Lemon!" Clementine said. "What?" "They are dancing." "I'm dancing too." "You are chasing your tail." Lemon stopped. "That is my original part of the choreography." As the sun began to sink toward the horizon, the water in the lagoon turned golden pink. Hundreds of flamingos stood quietly in the shallow water. Florian walked over to the friends. "Now, do you know why we sent the invitation?" Lemon thought carefully. "So we could learn about flamingos?" "Partly." "So I could learn to stand on one leg?" "That still needs some work." Clementine laughed. Florian looked at the pink feather tucked into Lemon's collar. "Every year we send one feather out to sea because we want to remind someone that the world becomes much more interesting when you occasionally leave the familiar path." Lemon looked across the lagoon. If he had not noticed that bottle that morning, he would never have seen this place. The flamingos, the pink water, the upside-down breakfast. Poor Florian. "Can I keep the feather?" Lemon asked. "Of course, it belongs to you now." On the way home, Clementine walked beside Lemon. "That was a good adventure," she said. "A very good one. There is only one problem." "What?" "Now you are going to open every bottle you find on the beach." Lemon thought about it. "But what if there's another invitation inside?" Clementine sighed. "That is exactly what I'm afraid of." Far beyond the reeds, the Pink Lagoon was slowly falling asleep. The flamingos tucked their heads beneath their wings. The last golden rays of sunlight touched the water, and the pink feather in Lemon's collar moved gently in the sea breeze. because sometimes the best adventure does not begin with a treasure map, or a pirate ship, or even a frightening mystery. Sometimes all you need to do is notice the bottle the sea left for you on the sand. The end.